Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I want to talk about in terms of how to use the RSI, the Relative Strength Index Indicator. So talk about basic definition. It is a momentum oscillator that measures the speed and change of price movements between 0 and 100. Uh, People use it in different ways, but I'll teach you something which, if you are a pro, then you can or if you want to be a pro, then you can definitely use the theory and apply it in live trading. So let's go. So I'm looking at this Think or Swim platform. If you want to throw an RSI, easiest way really is you go to Studies, Quick Study, or you can try to do Add Study, right? Or you can always go to Edit Studies. So if you go to Edit Studies, let me go and remove these moving averages. Over here, you just go and put an RSI, and there you go. So there's the RSI, right? So we're going to use the most common ones, which is on the 14-day period, which is last 14 days. 70 and 30 are really the extremes, right? Okay, so if you're looking on the daily chart or weekly chart, we always, if we are trading the daily chart, we want to look at the weekly chart, right? If you're trading the weekly chart, you want to look at the monthly chart. So we always want to take a look at one time frame higher. So that's why we want to take a look at the multiple time frame analysis. So in terms of using the oscillator, really is a few key things. For a stock to be let's do this. For a stock really to be on the bullish side, you want to have the RSI over 50 on the higher time frame. So for example, if I want to go long on FANH, I definitely want the stock to be higher than 50, right? Which means there is strength in the name. Now you want to go to a lower time frame to go and try to find entries on the pullbacks. So generally, if it's over 70, over 60, or over 70, this is a really good number to look at stocks which is trending really fast. All right. So if you take a look at this, right, this is the 70 line, this is a 30 line. So on the higher time frame since September 11th, so this is 2016 year, since September 11th onwards till now, right? Oh, sorry, this is a 2017 year. So September 11, 2017 till now, we had this RSI over this 70 level, which means the stock has been trending on the long side, right? Now, if you look on the, so we want to find entries from September 11th to say, let's see, before this down move was March 5th, 2018, right? So roughly about 6-9 months from there, right? So let's take a look at the daily chart to see. So on the higher time frame, we have determined that, you know what, this stock is strong. The reason being is it's higher than this 70-day, the 70 line, so it is strong. Now, if you go on the lower time frame, right? So let's take a look at 6 months daily, or we can actually do customized list, add a time frame. We can even do 2 years daily, right? So let's do that. 2 years daily, go apply. Go to 2 years daily, apply. Okay. Now, if you want to go and find, there's two ways to do it. Either you're trying to find um, a pullback setup, or you're trying to find a breakout setup, right? So we looked at on the daily, on the weekly time frame, the RSI was over 70. Now, if you want to go and find breakout setups, right? Same thing on the breakout. So you can take a look at even on the shorter time frame. All right, on the shorter time frame, this RSI is over 70 as well, right? And just before it was peaking out, over here is over 60, right? So generally, if the RSI is generally over 60 on a daily time frame, it's really a good idea for you to take a look at and go for breakout trades. For example, this is a big breakout trade, right? So let me zoom this up over here. So just before this breakout, this was the RSI. If you look at down here, this is the RSI values. So just before the breakout, right, on the breakout day, the RSI was 75. Pre-breakout, the RSI was at 64, right? So with this RSI at 64 means it's generally if it's over 60, it's on the weekly time frame, the strength is there. Now on the daily time frame, the strength is there as well. Once again, if you look at on this next breakout, right? So on the day of breakout, the RSI value we're looking at over here was 75. Pre-breakout, the RSI value was 70. So once again, the RSI is over 60. So it means the strength. We already determined the weekly time frame that there is strength in this name because the RSI is over the 60 and 70 value. Now, in the shorter time frames, they're doing the exactly same thing, right? So if you want to see, let's say you want to take a look at this breakout over here, right? So this is really this is the first, second, and third move. So, I mean, once again, if you look at this, on the breakout day, the RSI is 78. The day before, the RSI was 69. So one really good measure if you want to scan for stocks is look for stocks which have high RSIs, right? Generally, if you look at traditional way to say is for somebody says, hey, you know what? If the RSI is over 70, then you want to look for shorts and so on. In a trending market, when we know that the stock is actually trending on a higher time frame, right? On the weekly, we can see once the RSI goes over 60, we already know the stock is trending on a higher time frame. Now, the idea really is to go on a shorter time frame and try to see. There's two ways to play it. Either you try to play it on a pullback, right? So if you look at this stock doesn't really pull back too well. Let's try to go back. 6 months daily, so 2 years daily. So this stock is really not a pullback stock. This is more of a breakout stock because whenever it sets up on as a bull flag, it actually really goes really well, right? So let's look at some other stocks which has been hot lately. Something like Nvidia, right? Once again, we go on the weekly time frame. Here's what we look at. So, I mean, this RSI was over 70 for this Nvidia since 2016, right? Since 2016, once it went over this RSI 70, which means there's a lot of strength in the name, what you're trying to see is you want to find long positions going forward. So since this 2016 and now, you see all this, the RSI has really been pretty steady, right? I mean, it did dip below, but then once again, whenever it came back over the 70 level, look at this breakout. Once it goes to this breakout level, I mean, you can see this actually start trending again. Now, if you want to take a look on the daily time frame to try to find entries on this name, right? Let's go back on the weekly. So this is when it had its initial big breakout over here at $39, after which the $40 shot became $120 and now became, so it's actually it became triple and then it doubled from there, right? So now we try to find on a 2 years, trying to see, hey, you know what? Now we know the stock is trending. Now the only thing we have to really see is where are we going to buy it at? So once again, most of the momentum names generally, if it's a tech stock, anything over 70, it does set up a really good breakout, right? So you see it over here, right? Some really good breakouts. If you try to see it over here, right? A good breakout over here. So that's a good breakout names. Let's put in some other name. Let's say MU, right? So let's pull up on the weekly time frame and take a look at, hey, you know what? When is this really hitting this? So when you see, once again, whenever it's this over the 70 level, it becomes a really good trender. Same thing with this. On a weekly time frame, once it crossed over the $70 level, somewhere on this day, right, it became a pretty good trender, right? So with this going this forward, we want to find long entries. So once again, we look on, say, 2 years daily. You can find opportunities over here. Right? So whenever it goes over this level, it does become like this. Now the other way to take a look at in terms of using RSI is, so we take a look at in terms of trying to find the strength. We can try to look on the breakouts. The other way that you can really look at is in terms of divergence. Now, what does divergence means? So let's take a look at, say, a stock VRX. Right. So weekly time frame. So divergence, what really means, I mean, if the RSI goes higher in the direction, then generally you can use it to try to find the market tops or market bottoms, right? So in this situation, I mean, if you take a look at this RSI, if you look at this line, right? If you look at this, let's take out this tool. Trend lines. Okay. So if you look at this RSI, right? I mean, if you look on the weekly chart on the VRX, the price is trending higher, right? On this situation, the price is actually not trending really that high at all, right? Similarly, if you look at stocks, something like say GPRO, GoPro, right? It's on a weekly time frame. Let me pull up the daily chart, right? So you look at this GoPro, the price is trending higher. However, the RSI is actually going lower, right? So there is a price divergence, so which means even though the price might be showing momentum, but the indicator is actually lagging it. So there's a higher chance risk of it actually going down. Something that we can only talk about is a let's say Facebook, right? So you can try to this is not really a great example, but this is a great example in terms of finding uh, breakouts. Once again, once it goes over the $70, sorry, over this 70 RSI, right, you get this nice break. Let me pull this up. Right, so whenever you go over this RSI, after that you get a nice trender from there. Right. Let me try to see what else is there. So Amazon. So Amazon under name. Let's see if we can find. Okay. So I mean, once again, I mean, there are times when if it goes over 70, it's actually going to work all over again, right? So once it goes over the $70 level, it works again. So you can use RSI in terms of finding strength in the name, or if you're trying to find reversal patterns, whether the topping patterns or so on, then you can find those ones as well. For example, in this situation, if you look at the price, um, you see this price divergence over here, right? You might see, hey, you know what, the stock is going up and so on, but if you look at the momentum, it's actually losing momentum over here. Right? So once you see these reversal patterns over here, that's a good time to have a good short opportunity. So that's how you can use RSI indicators to find strength, to find reversal patterns, and that's how if you use it, you can treat it like a pro. Any questions, hit me up on Twitter or email me. And if you like the videos, please do like and subscribe. Have a good one.